when
And
I'm
you can
doing
hear
it.
me good, right?
Yeah, you sound well, you're in my ear. So yeah, it sounds fine.
Okay. I'm in the lobby in the hospital. All
I can hear a little bit, but it has the noise canceling, so it's not too
right,
crazy.
yeah. I think I have noise canceling selected on mine. So yeah.
Hmm. So we are live. Hold
Hi.
on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm gonna go live on Instagram too.
How can I see? Can you see?
What do you mean?
Oh, because you can see people. I can't, right? You can see if there what's
I don't
happening.
know. I can't actually.
Oh, you,
So it'll tell me if people comment, and it tells me like how many people I guess are viewing. That's all I Yeah, that's all I see.
because when I
So
tell you I'm an old lady in a young person's body, just to figure this out today, I was like, look, my best friend was messaging me like, that's not how you put a link in there. I was like, you can't see it, but she was like, you so old.
dude, it is a struggle. The technology is a struggle. Like that's real.
I can't. It's a massive learning curve. It's a
It
massive learning.
is. It is. And this is actually the first time that I'm using StreamYard. It was really important for me to get the maximum exposure for you all.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, let me try this StreamYard. And so here I am at 5 o'clock in the morning setting up my StreamYard account on
I had never
420.
heard of it until you said it to me. But I mean, then again, I'm not the greatest at it, so it's probably I didn't hear about it.
Right? So, but let me introduce you. Let me introduce myself. So, my name is Ashley. For those of you who are watching, I'm the founder of Cannabis Nursing School, and I am also the founder of the Highline Tribe.
Yes,
And
that's a
I
highline.
had yes, yes, like, and I'm so excited because for a lot of the women that we're gonna see today, it's their first time like showing their face on screen, like for real, and it's a big deal to me and to them. But to right now, I have Jessica. She is the owner of a virtual dispensary. You can correct me if I
No, you're good. You're
misunderstand.
good. Yes.
But she will be launching her new line very soon, and she has been working very, very diligently in the background. So one of the things that makes the tribe a little different than other groups is that not only do we support each other like through community, but we support each other through entrepreneurial endeavors and just really personal and professional growth. And so right now, I want us to spend time talking about some of the challenges that you've gone through in trying to get your product line up and launched.
Okay.
And then some of the wins, like some of the things that you just really feel good about. So I'll
Okay.
let you take it from there. Introduce yourself and you can go for it.
Okay. Of course. Hey guys. I don't know who's out there, but hey guys. I'm Jessica Lewis. I'm the owner of the soon to launch Nursing Tree CBD. As far as my background, I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for about 6, 7 years now, a little bit over 6 years. I have two bachelor's degrees, and I also have a master's degree. I graduate in actually 27 days. I'm getting my master's in cannabis science. So I'm starting my own CBD line, and the reason I started the line, and it was important for me to kind of go the CBD route, was because I was in the Marine Corps. I'm a veteran, and I suffered a lot of injuries. I had a lot of chronic pain for years. And in the military, it's kind of like a running joke. You get used to going to medical and they just sending you home with some Motrin, and that was kind of the story of my enlistment. I had all these bulging discs. I hurt my knee in Afghanistan. I had a lot of injuries, and it was just always the same thing. um, but as cannabis kind of explodes and gets bigger, as accepted as it's becoming, there's still so many people that can't use it. Medical professionals, when you get
Mhm.
drug tested, when you start working, people in the government. I have a friend who's like a forklift driver who suffers from like massive migraines, headaches. Provider is already giving him a card, but he can't do it because they randomly test them. So what choices do those people have? Right? I started, you know, going more like the holistic route, trying to do anything I could, massages, acupuncture, and then kind of ran into CBD. And for me, it helped me tremendously because I didn't have many options. I couldn't really do anything containing THC. And then I was like, there's such a forgotten about market of people, as popular as it gets, that just cannot use it. So that's why I kind of started on this journey. Journey started about 2.5 years ago, maybe three. Uh, I was sitting, I was sitting on the couch, doing you know what.
You know what?
I'm in the hospital. I'm actually at work, so we'll keep that. But you know what we were doing,
Right.
and it was
Minding
one of
our
those,
business. How about
yeah,
that? Minding our
minding our
business.
business, our good Lord business, right? And it was one of those, it was one of those creative thoughts that kind of came to me in the middle of the night, and I was kind of just searching, and I hadn't even realized that there was a space for people to get involved or a space for nurses. And I think I was googling something. You know how Big Brother's listening. You say something and all of a sudden ads and things start popping up on your phone. That's kind of how it was. And
Mhm.
I started seeing things for like bud tenders, and I was like, that's a thing. And I kind of started taking like little certification courses, and then it led me to find a program, a school program. And I am currently obtaining my master's. Like I said, I graduate in about 26 days, from the only school in the country that offers a program, nonetheless a master's program. So it's at University of Maryland under their School of Pharmacy. And it's in cannabis therapeutics and science. And that's kind of what started the journey, because I said, if I'm going to get in this space, I really want to get out of bedside. I really want to evolve and make this a thing and be really big on like education. And then that's kind of how this whole journey started. And I moved in silence for 2 years. 2 years. Like, I swear, none of my friends even knew the program that I was in.
Yeah.
They just knew I was in school for something, but I hadn't told anyone. It was like my mom, my dad, my sister, and maybe like two other people. And when I got to the place where I knew what I wanted to do,
Mhm.
and I started formulating my plan, that's when I started to kind of release it. Sometimes you can't tell the devil your plans, and that's kind of how it was. And then that's how Nursing Tree CBD was born.
Yes. So I resonate with that. That low key, I'm doing this, but nobody else gonna know about it. So why did you feel the need to kind of keep it under wraps?
So a couple of things. So I think we all know that in the cannabis space, especially as a medical provider, excuse me, like a medical provider, you're nervous. You don't know what people are gonna think. You don't know who's gonna be out to get you, trying to do some underhanded things. So I was kind of nervous, and then I also didn't really know where my space was going to be at yet. Um, I think I was like in a big unknown. Like, I was nervous. I was like, "Girl, you about to get a master's in this? You better do something, because
Yeah.
otherwise, this money down the drain. Like, if you get a degree in this, you better do something with it."
Yeah.
So at first, that was kind of like that, and then two, when you tell people, you don't know which one it's going to be. It's going to be the, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing! I can't believe. Tell me more," or the
Mhm.
eyebrow raise, like,
Yeah.
you're getting a degree in what, you're doing what. And then you always got, sometimes you have some haters,
Yeah.
and
Facts.
when you're telling people at work, especially in the medical space, you don't know what they're trying to do. So initially it was a lot of those reasons, until I got to the place where I was not only comfortable, but I kind of knew exactly what I wanted to do. Because
Yeah.
then now, if you ask me questions, I can answer them. I could give you a definitive answer of what am I going to do with this degree.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because there are a lot of people in a master's degree, and what I hear commonly is I'm getting the degree, but I don't know what I'm going to do next. So I love that I mean, you're just generally a go-getter. Like it's easy to see that in you. But there are a lot of people who get the degree and are expecting a job when they get out and expecting it to be easy. Like if you get a nursing degree, you go apply for your nursing job and you just show up for the interview. It's not really like that right now in the cannabis industry.
And
So
this
I
is not,
love,
it's not easy.
yeah, no, it's not. So
It's,
with that being said, tell us about some of your journey into, you spent 2 years. What have you been doing for the past 2 years?
whew, guys, it's a lot. You really have to figure out. I think the first step someone has to do is get in with a community. In the beginning, I kind of felt kind of lost, even though I kind of knew what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
It Sometimes you need people who are supportive, like yourself, who don't mind helping. And that's something that's rare in the world. You have people that feel like, I can't give you the secrets because I want
Yeah.
all the secrets to myself. I can't help you because then it's going to take something and distract from me. So when you find that, it's very helpful, especially in this place. So I think that's the first step. And especially if you don't know where you want to go, seeing other people's journey, what other people are doing, kind of helps you get the juices flowing of like, okay,
Mhm.
how can I do this for myself, and how can I make it unique for me?
Mhm.
So I think that's the first thing. The second thing is you definitely just got to sit back and think like, all right, creative ways. Unfortunately, I
Mhm.
think there's so many places and spaces inside this market, but there are places that eventually will become oversaturated. So you kind of figure out, how do I set myself apart from it? Um, in the last 2 years, it's been a lot. When I kind of came up with the idea of the CBD company, I was like, okay, well, how do I do this? And finding farms and connections and things like that. I didn't want to go like the white labeling route. There's some people that do that, which are great.
Mhm.
But I didn't. I wanted to do something that was for me, and that I could put a lot of thought into. So it was a lot of steps. So when you're starting a business, you have to, at least on the CBD space, there were a lot of things that I had to do and think about, like banking,
Mhm.
my online presence, and stuff like that. Before this, my page was private.
Yeah.
I didn't like people. I was a private person, but unfortunately, you have to get in a place where you're comfortable talking to people and putting your face out there, especially if it's going to be the face of your brand. Because in 2023, the way you kind of get, a business going, unfortunately, is a social media presence. So that was the first step. I had to become comfortable with that.
Mhm.
Um, Obstacles that I had to do. A lot of things fell through. So
Yeah.
no, a lot of things are going to fall through. A lot of connections. A lot of people like to talk.
Mhm.
Um, I was linked in with a farm, a legacy farm out of Georgia. Amazing people. When I tell you, I felt like their little granddaughter. It was like a whole co-op of farms, and we were really deep into the process months. I would have been the first person that would have vertically integrated with them, which is
Mhm.
what they wanted. But we got so close, and the processor for Georgia, the only processor in the state, just fell out. They didn't have a
Wow.
processor to process any hemp, so I couldn't wait for them. So I had to kind of, it was start all over.
That's what we call a pivot.
It was, look,
all,
it was
all the way around.
it was massive whiplash. I was so disappointed. We had came up with formulations,
Yeah.
ideas. Then I had someone connect me to a gentleman in Chicago who connected me to a gentleman in Pennsylvania. He was great, but he sometimes he would just kind of go MIA.
Oh,
We
wow.
had to start all over again. Then I found, and you know this one, you know the background story. I found
Yeah.
another company, and one thing you're gonna have to learn is not everyone is for you. Not everyone is created equal. Found a company, and I kind of wanted to introduce some of their products into the line. Completely did me dirty. Never got the stuff. It was a lot, and it fell through. And they got my money,
Yeah.
took my money. So you have to be prepared for it and know that in business there's going to be unfortunately a lot of business mistakes and things that you're going to learn from. It's just a matter of how expensive it's going to be. Um, then what banking is something that you're going to have to do if you're going to do something, whether it's brick and mortar, whether it's e-commerce, and it has CB, cannabis, anything involved. You
Yeah.
have to get a bank, and it's not many of them. So the approval process for me to get my bank to approve me was long, and it was very detailed. They have a whole team that is, they're one of the first banks for CBD. um, been doing that for, I think, maybe about, they've been around for like a century, but as far as the CBD space, they were like one of the first, even I think right before the Farm Bill.
Mhm.
And I had to do everything. I had to submit a description of every product I was selling, the ingredient list. I had to attach the lab results, the COA for everyone. They look over it every monthly. They're going to be looking through my website. They're going to make sure I don't say any of those forbidden words that you can't say. They're going to make sure I don't have anything where the lab results are outdated or something that I didn't give them. So if they see a product that they didn't have on their list or I didn't give them, they're like, hold up. They're going to send me a nice, friendly email at first. Hey, ma'am, we don't see these results. You have, 2, 3 business days to send this to us before we pause your bank account.
Yeah.
So you have to be very serious and diligent about that. If you're going to do e-commerce, your website, I pay monthly fee for my website, even though we haven't even launched. I'm still paying them, still paying
Hmm.
the bank. Um, and you have to make sure it's a platform that will accept certain products.
Yeah.
Many people who start this business end up getting their business shut down and their pages shut down because they're doing something wrong in that process, or they're saying a lot of things wrong, not making any medical claims. So it's been a lot of hiccups that I learned. But the good thing I think I've learned about myself in this business is things that I would have never thought about. I think it's important, for instance, your name.
Hmm.
Spend a lot of time thinking about what you're naming your business.
Yeah.
You can't just gain a lot of followers and decide you don't like the name and then change it a couple of months down the road. You
Yeah.
want it to have something that you can stand behind, something that have meaning. Spend time in your logo.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways you can get, expensive logos or cheap logos, but make sure you like it.
Yeah.
Nurse Tree CBD was personal. I spent a lot of time with that. I believe holistically the plant does a lot of healing from the inside out. I believe it's nursing you from the inside out. And
Yeah.
a plant, a tree with strong roots. And that's what I wanted to convey. So spend time thinking about that. Also, make sure you establish your target market.
Yeah. Big deal. Big deal.
I never thought about that. So actually, let me tell you, when I started this process, I was like, huh, everybody gonna get it. Everybody,
Yes.
you can get it. You can get it. Like everybody,
Yes.
I need that. I needed to pop off. I needed to. And then someone told me, who's been mentoring me, he's like, if you sell to everybody, you sell to nobody.
Exactly.
I was like, okay, I got you. And you
Yeah.
have to figure out who are you speaking to if you
Hmm.
want to be successful. So overall, the process has been interesting. It's been a lot of difficult nights feeling like I was never going to start. Let me tell you, I've been supposed to, how many times I've had to push back a launch date.
Yeah. That's real.
You gotta really be able to pivot. Like every time I got so close to something, something happened where somebody, that was above and beyond me. I wouldn't have been able to help it.
Yeah.
And I had to push
Yeah.
back, but you really got to be flexible. And I could have threw in the towel. I could have gave in hundreds of times, but you
Hmm.
really got to, if you want to do it, and just know that it's going to take time. Do I think
Yeah.
that, right out the gate, we're going to be booming? Hey, if I'm lucky and God willing, we build, but you can't just be like, all right, I ain't do what I wanted to do this month. So, all right, that's it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a space that a lot of people can get into. You just kind of really have to put in some thought and to know how dedicated you're going to be.
Yeah, definitely. I think you spoke to some traditional business struggles, right? So finding people to be on your team, reputable people to contract with, right? Those are traditional struggles. But then the added layer of working in business in this industry is the cannabis, the stigma, the barriers to
Exactly.
access, the additional fees. You're now a risky business, those kind of things. Those are what make this industry unique. But right now, like everybody wants a med spa, right? Like everybody, like I'm gonna get a med spa, And I'm like,
I
damn,
thought about that too. I
but
think
if
we all do.
everybody, but here's my thing, like if everybody got a med spa, then y'all saturating the market. So by the time everybody get everything up and running, and there's already a med spa in every corner in your town, how are we gonna be successful if we really think about your marketplace that you're working in, right? So like those are the things that I think about when, like, if I'm gonna start a business, it's not gonna be the thing that's on trend, you know? And so I think the fun thing about this industry is that, one, there's a million things you can do. Like, you don't have to start a virtual CBD store. You can support a virtual CBD store somehow, right? And so, being, to your point about creativity, being creative about your approach, spending time with yourself and loving it, being able to wake up and saying, hey, I love this business, whether somebody buys something today or not, so I can continue to pay on this website that's not bringing me any money right now. Like, that's true love, you know?
Exactly.
It's
It's
true
real
love,
dedication.
right?
But I think, look, it's so funny you said the med spa. I feel like everybody thought about it because in the beginning, when I didn't know what I wanted to do, I was like, huh, let me open this spa and just have these products in here. And, people coming, and I'm a nurse, but people think that that's easy too, and it's not. The
It's
amount of
not.
certifications you have to get, the amount of permits you have to get to now be able to operate a med spa is very arduous. It's a lot. It's not an easy
Yes.
task either. There's nothing that's going to be in this cannabis space that is going to be easy.
Yeah, facts. And I think if we lean in and know that it's not going to be easy and just be okay with whatever comes our way, right? And I think that's where the resilience comes in. A lot of people have not had enough experiences with having to build up that resilience muscle where, I mean, essentially they'll quit. I've been in this space for probably about, what, 5 years now. I done seen people come and go, gone. Whoop, out of nowhere. They like, oh, I work at this clinic now. And that's no problem. That's no problem. But that
It's
lets
real.
me know that you didn't create anything sustainable, right? You
Yeah,
you created an identity. You said, hey, I want to be a cannabis nurse. But then you didn't take any of the action steps to create a platform for yourself to be able to sustain
yeah.
yourself, you know?
And that's actually a good point that you make about, one day they're here and the next they're not. That's fine. Things happen.
Hmm.
Most, I think, people, and this is something that I even tell myself, as much as I speak into the universe and I say, hey, God is going to allow me to be successful, reality still exists. And more businesses, especially starting up businesses, fail than succeed.
Absolutely.
So it's okay if the business you start or whatever you do doesn't succeed. But are you just going to completely stop and just walk away from the field? Or are you going to say, all right, I'm going to stick it out and what else can I do? And I think that's for me. For me, even though CBD and I'm passionate about, because I can't, go to work, high and all those type of things. What can I do to relieve my pain or to help me sleep or help other people? And a great product and a great cannabinoid is CBD.
Hmm.
So even though that's my baby, I know that that's not all that I want to do. For me, I'm passionate about education. I'm also getting my master's in education. So
Yeah.
I'm passionate about that, and I want to become an authority figure where people, I'm big on advocacy, and I think that that's something missing in the medical field as far as the plant is concerned. You don't gotta like it, but you should be educating the patient so they can make an informed decision on what they want to use or not. And I think that's the big piece. So if you fail and you like, hey, I had to go work back at this clinic, that's fine. But is that it? Is it
Right, right.
you
Is that
coming back?
it?
You
Is
coming
that
back?
it?
Like,
Right? Like, where's the pivot? Where's the contingency,
yeah,
right? So if you're in love, you're going to do everything you can do to make sure that whatever the why was to begin with is maintained and you continue to move through that. Otherwise, I don't think it's necessarily a fact of did you go work at the clinic, because you might need to make some more money, raise more capital to
yeah.
support your business, right? And that's cool. But what's next? What's the next step? And I think that's where people get stuck. They get comfortable, especially as nurses. We have jobs readily available at the drop of a hat. We're in demand. We make decent money, right? So sometimes we sacrifice the why and at the expense of ourselves. And I don't think that's okay. I think too often we don't prioritize ourselves and what and why we're trying to do what we're trying to do.
Um, I feel that to my core. Like I feel, especially after the last 2 3 years that the world as a whole has had,
Mhm.
I can there isn't a nurse that I know that isn't burnt out. There isn't a nurse that I know that is not 100. There are nurses that I would have known that 100% 110% was happy every day to come to work.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they here at work, just because they love taking care of patients and you doing that happiness has kind of dwindled because
Yeah.
everyone's understaffed, people are burnt out. And I feel that, especially when you say, when you're relating that to nurses, how you're comfortable because there you can kind of have an option. You can kind of go to another hospital, you can do it, and you don't make horrible money.
Right.
But yeah, you have to push through. um and that's me, and my goal is not to be at bedside. Like, sometimes I'm already falling apart. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer I could be at bedside, lifting patients up in the bed and all this other stuff. But you have to be dedicated. You have to know that you kind of, unfortunately, you're gonna, depending on what you're trying to do, it may involve a decent amount of startup costs. So
Yeah.
start saving and
Yeah.
plan ahead.
Yeah. And I think the skill of planning is also a underutilized skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so again, and that's why people get stuck again, because they don't think through all the steps that you need to do. So one thing that happens often is like they're like, I want to start a business, and then they quit their job the next week, and it's like, but were you prepared for everything that was going to come your way as a non-employed entrepreneur? Because the expenses, most 90% of the time, will exceed how much you make in the beginning as you
Yeah.
develop brand presence and brand awareness and things like
Oh,
that.
definitely. You're
Hmm.
definitely going to be working for a long time to even before you even turn a profit to even recoup what you spent in the startup costs. And sometimes quitting your job is feasible for some people if you have
Right.
a partner in the household, or someone who, or maybe a lot of money saved up, or someone who can hold down the expenses while you venture on your dream and trying to discover what you want to do. That is feasible, but not for everybody. Some people don't have money saved up. Some people don't have a lifeline in the household to be able to pay for things when they
Exactly.
have now removed that income from the house.
And I'll just kind of quantify what you just described. That's called privilege, to be able to have access to
Mm,
that, right? And some people have more privilege to do that than others, and that's just the reality of the world.
yeah, that's real. That's
Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to share? You have to go back to work.
Yeah, patients be waiting, but no.
Yeah.
No, I just only thing I want to just wrap up with is just stay dedicated, still try to figure it out.
Hmm.
Even as much as I figured out, there's still tons that I haven't figured out, still tons that I'm still trying to figure out. What do I want to do? What is the end goal? Where do
Yeah.
I see myself in this space? You can see it, but you should never still be comfortable. You should want more. So I think that that's important for anyone who's trying to do and get in this space. And then also, sometimes people don't want to, be a business owner. They just
That's the
want to
truth.
learn about the plant. They just want to be able, especially if you are in any type of holistic care, any healthcare. I do think that sometimes business is not for everyone, but if you can become educated on something that is is around us, like one in three patients, one in four patients use cannabis.
Yeah.
The more educated you can become on it to now better your job, your career, your patients, or whomever you're taking care of, is a positivity, and it's a win for the field. So just stay
Absolutely.
positive, stay connected with Ashley. She's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate you. No, this, you know what? You're amazing. And
Thank you.
to
Thank
be
you.
honest with you, I do this because I know that there is some elevation that needs to come, and because of the role of a nurse, things that we've gone through, the struggles that we go through, like we just need support. I know I needed it when I first entered this industry. All the million pivots are can be discouraging, where you do just want to quit. And so if you have somebody that's kind of cheering you on in the background,
Yeah.
to your point earlier, it makes it more likely that you'll be successful.
Yeah.
And so, that's
Absolutely.
why I do what I do. And I'm very happy to see how you're moving along your journey. And also, to your point, there is a million things to learn. And that vision is expansive, it's infinite. It can go any direction you want it to. So that's where strategic planning comes into place, to know what and why you're doing when you're why what and why you're choosing to do what you do when you do it, right? And so I'm just excited to just watch that unfold. And there will be more mistakes to be made, but there will also be
Yeah.
tons of successes positioned for
Thank you
success.
so
So
much, so much. Actually, I appreciate you always. You're super supportive. And one thing about this field is, as many, sometimes people that don't want to see you win, there's way more. Like this is just a fun field. It's just a fun field to be in,
that's
right?
a fact.
Especially
That's
if
a
you're
fact.
passionate about it. So thank you for always supporting anybody that comes in.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
rarity. It's a rarity. So
Oh,
thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. So go ahead, get back to work. I'm just gonna close up and kind of summarize everything. Talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye. So that was Jessica. She is the I have her Instagram down here at the bottom if you want to follow her. She's an amazing human being if you didn't already figure that out. So go ahead and give her a follow. We're going to be here all day, off and on. I have videos to share. I have other live discussions. We're going to have conversations ranging from yoga, which I think is coming up in a right now in a couple minutes. Alicia should be coming in here. And so just stay tuned. I'll be on in a couple minutes. Happy 420, y'all.